My name is Joshua, and you're watching Let's Roll It, tabletop gaming information and news. Today, we are going to talk about cards. It seems like a good time to talk about cards since Magic the Gathering just released their latest card set, Return to Ravnica. But before we get started with that, I just want to talk a little bit about what I like about Magic the Gathering. You see, I've only played it for about a year, a little less than a year now. And I had just never really gotten into it before. I'd seen it here and there and wondered about it, but I didn't have any friends that really played it, and at the time, I didn't go to any comic shops or hobby shops on a regular basis to even know about it, really. But I decided that I would try getting into it because I was just really intrigued by it. It just sounded fun to me. And I had been just getting into Dungeons & Dragons, so going to Wizards of the Coast, I kind of saw that. So, I like the strategy. You find a card you like, and you can build a deck around it. You see, growing up, I never really was good at strategy because I never followed through, and I never really learned strategy. So I'm kind of taking a leap of faith here, or trying to expand myself a bit, and see how I can do strategy, what I can do about strategy. So that's one of the things I like about it, because just all of these different cards do so many different kinds of things. Keeping track of it, figuring out what your opponent has, and how you can try to go against whatever type of deck he has. I'm still learning, doing my best to play as often as I can, which typically is about once a week, but I'm enjoying it. And so I was really pleased to find out about Return to Ravnica. You see, I'd never heard of it before, and when I was first introduced to it and told about what Ravnica was all about, and the guilds, it was just like, oh, it's a nice idea, having multicolored lands, multicolored cards. Because unless you do a mono deck, you're going to deal with multiple colors, and being able to use these guild cards now in standard play makes it a little bit easier, So, with this set, Return to Ravnica, we are getting Azorius, which is white-blue, Izzet, which is red-blue, Rakdos, red-black, Golgari, green-black, and Selesnya, green-white. And I found a little test online where you answered questions, and it determined what type of person you were to figure out what guild you would be, and I kind of chose was Azorius and Selesnya were the top ones, and looking at the two different intro decks and seeing how they work, I liked Selesnya because I had just been beaten by somebody with a Sappering deck that did a lot of token Sapperings and just killed me. So the whole populate idea, getting tokens and then populating, doubling what you have, seemed like a very intriguing, cool way of doing it. Not just having one type of creature, but having multiple types of creatures you can then just go all out on your enemy with. So I was very pleased to find out about it. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see where it goes from here. The next set is going to be called, I believe, Gatecrash, which will have the remaining guilds, Orzhov, Demur, Gruul, Boros, and Simic. And it'll be interesting to see what happens and how the cards interact with each other. And then the set after that is pretty much going to be cards focused on all the different guilds. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I like the idea of doing this because you're bringing some of the old style cards that they had and bringing them back. And yes, it's a way to get you to spend more money because you're going back to the things. But I also think it's cool because it can bring those cards back into play because, unless you play casual Magic, it sometimes gets a little difficult, in my opinion, in figuring out all the different types of card plays. And I like being able to just go somewhere and just play a game, But with Standard, it's nice having that because then I can have something that's current and it has some of these cool features from before. So I like that. Now, Another card game that recently had a release was the card game of Munchkin. Munchkin's a fun, zany type of a game, and they came up with this zany type of an idea. They developed 6 different colored pins. You wear them, you can have up to plus. You can wear one of each color, and it gives you +1 for your fighting when you're in battles. But the catch is, after a battle, you roll a die. If you get the amount of pins that you have or less, you have to remove it. So throughout the game, you're doing this, and you're slowly getting a little less and less powerful as your cards themselves become more and more powerful. So I think that it's a pretty fascinating way of going about it and coming up strong, being able to stay strong. It just sounds fun to me. Now, I admit, when I first heard of it, I was like, really? Pins? I mean, it does sound kind of quirky, gimmicky, zany. And I was like, wait a minute. Munchkin is a zany, quirky game. And I really like not Call of Cthulhu, but the Cthulhu Munchkin. Munchkin Cthulhu. Because it was the first one that I ever played, and I really liked the idea of the cultist and just kind of what the different cards did. And it's just fun, zany card game. So, that is the show for today. My name is Joshua. You can email me at letsrollitgaming@gmail.com. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know. And let's roll for initiative.